morning. Come on, you gotta be more energized than that. Good morning. All right. My name is Dasjon Jordan, and I am a graduate student in city planning here in the Department of Urban Studies. And I'll be graduating this June. But more importantly, I'm a proud New Orleanian, and I will rep my city till the day I die. Currently, I serve on the executive board of the Students of Color Committee in our department, and also recently appointed as the Graduate Community Fellow in the Office of Graduate Education and Diversity. I'd also like to take this time to thank the event organizers for all of their hard work and support, everything from the details of this venue to helping us prepare for today. So give them a round of applause. When I was first offered the honor of sharing this year's graduate student remarks, I was frankly quite shocked. Most would say I'm more like Malcolm X. And this year's theme, we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt, actually seems very far from the truth right now in our country. What I came to in the end was that today we should focus on two checks: America's promissory note and social justice. From my time being raised on America Street in New Orleans, I was fortunate enough to have the values of hard work and community embedded into my psyche. Whether it's my dad's humdrum words of, do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do, son, or my mom's sacrifice of sleep to help me with last-minute school projects, I endlessly benefited from their love and commitment to my success. However, in that same New Orleans, I've witnessed some of the most grotesque disparities for Black people. As an organizer, I learned the immeasurable sacrifices that community leaders, business owners, and citizens endured to try to cash their own promissory notes. From the devastation of 1960s urban renewal highways to the post-Hurricane Katrina disinvestment in Black neighborhoods, these injustices, unhealed, had compounded into the issues that I work to address even while here in Cambridge. As a city planner in training, I deeply understand that the challenges of our cities don't just change because of public officials and community organizers. Knowing this, my classmates, faculty, and I grapple with the recommendations we make to nonprofits and local government, and how the tools we use either help exclude or empower people from historically marginalized backgrounds. Are we perpetuating a legacy of disenfranchisement to those communities around the country who've been decimated by those same urban renewal highways, or redlining, or explicit racial disinvestment? Are we creating spaces for those who've been unheard to be listened to, and for them to have agency over their own lives without our help? Though these efforts seem minimal, these students go on to influence the development of our world. The promissory note was not just about racial harmony and hand-holding, but Dr. King's address was explicitly about racial and economic justice. It was about people of color having their rights as American citizens activated and being able to access fair employment opportunities, housing, education, and simply the ability to provide quality lives for their families. What are we doing as a body to not only make sure that classrooms aren't just diverse and inclusive by the number of skin tones we can count, but by the content of our curriculum and our actions to prioritize equity and racial justice? We must remember that diversity and inclusion are not substitutes for justice and equity. Justice and equity should not be a suggestion here, but our collective mission. Our disciplines, though scientific, entrepreneurial, and technical, do have racial and social impact. The world is watching not only what we produce, but the values we champion and the processes we take to get there. These values and processes become the checks we deposit into America's bank as we work. The way we show up in our offices and classrooms and labs equally shape the climate of equity and justice for those around us and outside of the walls of MIT. To faculty, staff, and administrators, you are the gatekeepers of ensuring that a culture of equity and justice is maintained and welcome. The social atmospheres you uphold and create here are foundational to the ways we behave and perpetuate systems of oppression outside of our campus. Ask yourself, do I acknowledge the missing voices of people of color, LGBTQ folks, and women from our decision-making tables? Am I making sure that student groups like the BSU feel safe to celebrate Black History Month without attack? You have the responsibility of bringing social issues of the world into our campus and literally putting money into the Bank of Justice by funding students and faculty to do the work. To students, despite popular belief in our powerlessness, mobilizing student voices has the power to shape the current and future goals of MIT. We are to follow the examples of student groups like the Black Graduate Students Association and the Black Students Union, who created a set of recommendations to the Institute to improve the academic experiences of all students of color. Our time spent advocating through student organizations and symposiums do not take away from our ability to do rigorous research in our departments. It enriches and informs the academic work we do, providing the blueprint for values to hold our workplaces accountable to. We are not choosing between academic requirements and just causes. This is preparation to show the world how things like big data, climate change, and real estate development are fundamentally issues of freedom and justice. This is our professional practice. This extends beyond typical requests to volunteer for a day at a local high school or to do some service trip abroad for a couple of weeks. You deposit money into the Bank of Justice when you deeply examine recruitment and admission processes on a department-by-department basis. To deeply examine recruitment and to deeply understand the assumptions we make about candidates who are worthy of being here. You deposit money into the Bank of Justice when you consider how the expansion of MIT makes Cambridge unaffordable for low-income residents. I am not asking members of MIT to join the protests of the streets. In fact, I simply don't expect it. However, our engagement should bring problems of racial, economic, and social injustice to the heart of our institution and our daily actions. We must all ask ourselves the hard questions and hold ourselves accountable to solving them with fierce urgency. Is racial and economic justice our priority? If so, what are we doing to promote the cashing of the promissory note that Dr. King spoke of? We are obligated to center equity and justice at every step of our technological curiosity and to ensure that MIT is the shining example of mind in hand that we profess it to be. So, like my friends would say, in the words of Malcolm X, education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs only to the people who prepare for it today. Thank you.